The Spider Catcher. On a bright sunny afternoon, 4-year-old Mikhail sat on the floor of the living room, gripping his transparent plastic tumbler. His eyes sparkled with excitement as he carefully placed a tiny brown spider inside, sealing the lid. "Gotcha," he whispered, watching the spider crawl helplessly. Meanwhile, his older brothers, Jaden and Johan, were sitting on the couch, engrossed in a TV show. In the kitchen, their parents were busy preparing lunch. The house was filled with the warm aroma of food and the sound of the TV. Mikhail giggled as he shook the tumbler lightly, watching the spider move. He had done this many times before, trapping little creatures to observe them. But today, something strange was about to happen. The three brothers were going to learn a lesson. A while later, their father stepped into the living room. He glanced around and frowned. "Where's Mikhail?" he asked. Jaden and Johan turned their heads. They hadn't noticed Mikhail leave. "Maybe he's in his room?" Johan suggested. But when they checked, Mikhail was nowhere to be found. Panic set in. Their parents started calling his name, searching every corner of the house. They checked under the bed, inside the closets, even outside in the garden. Mikhail was missing. Heart pounding, their mother grabbed the car keys. "We need to go to the police," she cried. Their father nodded, and together they rushed out, leaving Jaden and Johan behind, their faces streaked with tears. Scene 3. The mysterious voice. Jaden and Johan sat on the couch, holding each other, scared and confused. Suddenly, a tiny, squeaky voice broke the silence. "Joe! Jadu! Help me! Help me!" Both boys jolted upright. "Did you hear that?" Jaden asked. Johan nodded. "It sounded like Miku." They frantically looked around. The voice called again. Jaden's eyes widened as he spotted the tumbler bottle on the floor. Inside it was a small spider, desperately tapping its tiny legs against the plastic. Johan picked up the tumbler, staring in horror. "No way. Could it be?" The voice came again, clear as day. "Joe, Jadu, it's me, Mikhail. Help me." They both looked at each other, needing assurance. Before they could react, the air shimmered, and suddenly, a giant spider with 8 gleaming eyes appeared before them. She was elegant and terrifying, her black and red body glistening in the light. Jaden and Johan gasped, stepping back. The spider's voice was deep and wise. "This boy has trapped my people for far too long," she said, "so I have turned him into one of us." Johan clutched the tumbler tighter. "Please, he's just a little boy. We promise he won't do it again." Jaden joined in. "We swear, we'll never trap another spider." The queen spider tilted her head, considering their plea. Then she spoke. "Spiders are not to be trapped for fun. They are creatures of nature, just like you. When you harm them, it brings sickness to your own hearts. Do you understand?" Tears filled Johan's eyes. "We understand. Please give us back our Miku." The queen spider stared at them for a long moment. Then she nodded. The room was lit in radiant sunlight. A warm golden light surrounded the tumbler. Johan quickly placed it on the floor, stepping back. The tiny spider inside began to glow, its form stretching and shifting. With a final flash of light, Mikhail sat there, blinking in confusion. Jaden and Johan tackled him with hugs, sobbing. "Miku, you're back!" Mikhail, still dizzy, hugged them tightly. "I was so scared." Their parents burst into the room at that moment, their faces filled with shock. "Mikhail," their mother cried, running to hold him. As they hugged, the queen spider watched from the shadows. Then, with a silent nod, she disappeared. The queen spider disappeared. That evening, as the family sat together, Mikhail stared at the tumbler bottle on the table. He shivered, remembering what had happened. Jaden placed a hand on his shoulder. "No more trapping spiders, okay?" Mikhail nodded solemnly. "Never again." From that day on, whenever they saw a spider, they let it be, remembering the lesson the queen spider had taught the every creature deserves to be free. And so, Mikhail, Jaden, and Johan lived happily, a little wiser than before.